So you guys should have finished your scientific notation. You should have been able to correctly go from scientific notation to standard notation, and you also should be able to go correctly to scientific notation from standard notation. So we will be using scientific notation a lot this semester, and this entire year, right? And that means that we're also going to be doing some calculations with scientific notation. So I would like for you guys to have a real calculator, a real life calculator. I'm going to show you guys some important functions on both types of calculators that I have here. Yours might look a little different than mine, but you should be able to find out where your button is. If you struggle, take a picture of your calculator and email me, and I will show you exactly where it is that you need to take or like what buttons you have to push. So scientific calculators are really important because they've got this button right here, the EE button. Okay. On your calculator, it might say EXP. On your calculator, it also might say times 10 to the N or times 10 to the X. And this button is important because it tells your calculator the entire phrase times 10 to the. So instead of having to hit times 10, where's the little caret on this one? Gosh, I don't even know because I never use it. To the, maybe this is the to the, I don't even know because I don't use it. Instead of having to write all that, I just have to hit EE, and that's it. Okay, if you have a calculator like this, then sometimes if you can see the EE is actually up here in yellow, right? So what that means is I have to hit second EE. And again, that's going to tell your calculator times 10 to the. So on this one, you might be tempted to hit times 10 to the fourth, but you don't need to hit times 10 to the. All those buttons are just that one. So it's really convenient, and it also makes it so that your calculator is not going to make a silly mistake because of PEMDAS. Okay, so what I want you guys to write down on this part of your notes is you're going to write scientific calculators. And we're going to remember that every time we use a scientific calculator to solve a problem, instead of writing times 10 to the, instead of writing all that out on your calculator, which is so much work that I don't want to do, on my calculator, for example, I'm going to just hit the button E. Okay? It's my fave. Love it. Love it, love it, love it. Right here. Okay? I know I'm just drawing poor boxes. Remember, on your calculator, it might be EXP. Might be written like this. So if you have a calculator with the button looks like that, then that's the one that you should be typing. Or I've seen on some calculators that it says like times 10, and then it has like the exponent up there. Okay, all of these buttons are a one-stop shop for times 10 to the. Okay, so what do I mean by that? I want to be like very specific for you guys. If you need to type 1.3 times 10 to the fourth as part of your calculation, all the buttons I want you to type to do that are just going to be 1.3 EE4. Okay, so copy that down. I want you to type 1, you're going to type point, you're going to type 3, and then you're not going to type any of this except for E, and then you type the exponent 4. Okay? That tells your calculator 1.3 times 10 to the fourth. Okay? It's important to do it this way because of like division. and certain like longer math problems that we might do, because your calculator is just going to take everything at face value. It's going to just do the operations in the order that you're giving it to the calculator, instead of recognizing, oh, this is scientific notation. It's going to think you mean 1.3 and then times 10 to the fourth and then divided by 6 and then times 10 and then take all that to the 23rd. So it's important to put it in this order. Another thing I want to point out to you guys as well is if you had something like 1.3 times 10 to the negative fourth, okay, then it's really important that you guys are typing a negative button and not the subtraction button, okay? So we're going to type, in this case, we're going to type the button 1. We're going to type the button dot. We're going to type the button 3. And then remember, all the times 10 to the, or times 10 to the, yeah, that's all just going to be EE, and that's it. EE, okay? Then make sure for the negative that you're typing, see how my negative looks like this? It's like a plus, change it to a minus, or minus, change it to a plus. On this calculator, it looks like this. It's a little like parentheses negative button. Do not hit your subtract button. That's different, okay? So I just want to, whatever it looks like on yours, mine looks like this. 4. So just a reminder to you guys that you need to type the negative button and not the subtraction button, okay? So I like to do a quick calculator check with you guys, because again, if you don't use the right buttons, your calculator is not going to do the calculation in the correct order of operations. So it's a really easy way for you guys to see, are you typing it in correctly? And does your calculator know what you mean, versus typing it in incorrectly and your calculator is just not doing it in the right order of operations. So right now, I'd like for you guys to try out on your calculator to make sure you're typing the right things in the right place. 9.13 times 10 to the 21st. And then hit your divided by 6.02 times 10 to the 23rd. Okay? You can do this along with me to make sure that you're typing it in correctly and you get the right answer. Okay? You should type 9.13. Okay? Then remember, the times 10 part is EE. And what you should see on the screen is like little numbers go up in the corner. I'm going to say 21st. Okay? Then I'm going to hit divide. Then I'll hit my 6.02. And then remember that the times 10 to the part is just that EE button. So I see those little numbers go up here. And then 23. Okay. So if you get this answer, you did it correctly. Okay. Let me do this one more time on this calculator, just in case this is the bad boy you're using. So you're going to say 9.13. Okay, remember the times 10 part is second EE for this calculator, because that little EE is in yellow, so I have to hit second EE. Then I'm going to hit 21st. Now I'll hit divide. Now I'll hit my 6.02. I'm going to hit the EE button again for the times 10 to the, and then I'm going to hit 23. Okay, and I should get 0.015 is how I'll have you guys round that off. Okay, 0.015. Okay. Again, if you're struggling with this, feel free to send me an email so that I can make sure that I'm problem solving through it with you guys, to make sure that you are typing the right thing in your calculator, that you have found your EE button. Every calculator is unique, so you might not have mine exactly, but this is my favorite one that I recommended via Amazon. So I will continue to use that in my lectures for the rest of the year. So you might want to get it just so it's easy for you to follow along with me. But what you guys are going to be doing for the rest of the class period today is doing some practice scientific calculations. Okay, so don't stress. This is not going to be something that you are going to like fail my class if you don't, or if you can't do this. This is kind of like a check for both you and me to see like how's it going with the scientific calculator, to make sure that you can do that, you can work on your scientific calculator before we move into some unit conversion problems next week. So remember to type in everything as you see it in the problem. Remember that the times 10 part is just EE button, and then you hit 2, 3. Okay, what I want you guys to do for every single question is round your answer to 2 decimal places. So you're also practicing rounding. There's going to be lots of rounding in this class. If you struggle with rounding, remember that, and I can even add this into your notebook if it helps. For rounding, if the next number, like the third number over, is that's weird. 0 through 4 stays the same. And then 5 through 9 rounds up. Okay? Right? That's the general rule. So if you have something like 1.754, then 2 decimal places would be the 0.75, and then you always look next door. And because this is a 4, it's going to stay the same. So my answer would be 1.75. That's how you would round that. Okay. If your answer is 1.757, this is your 2 decimal places. You're going to look next door, and because that number is 7, that means we're going to round it up. So it should be 1.76 as your answer. Okay. So general rule in this class is usually to just round to 2 decimal places. So remember, you look at the second decimal place and then you see what the number is next to it, whether it's going to round up or whether it's going to stay the same. All right, so finish up that practice, and you will get answers right away to see how you're doing, so you can check your work.